I got a vasectomy. Then she got pregnant. I didn't believe it until the DNA test. We met in the library during finals week of our second year of grad school. Rain tapped against the tall windows like it was trying to get in. She was hunched over a stack of policy briefs, hair pulled back, brow furrowed in that way that made her look both exhausted and unstoppable. I brought her coffee, black, 2 sugars, because I noticed her order at the campus cafe. She looked up, startled, then smiled like I'd handed her a lifeline. Her name was Lena, and from that moment, I was hooked. She was brilliant, sharp, driven, the kind of woman who could command a room without raising her voice. She spoke about justice like it was personal, and about love like it was a choice you made every single day. I admired her, loved her, believed in us. After graduation, we moved into a tiny apartment with peeling paint and a fire escape that doubled as our balcony. We ate ramen, argued about politics, and fell asleep tangled in each other's limbs. 2 years later, on a crisp October morning with golden leaves swirling around our feet, we got married by the coast. Just family, bare feet in the sand, vows we wrote ourselves. No grand gestures, just truth. It felt real, permanent. We always said we'd wait to start a family until we were ready. Stable jobs, a house with a yard, emotional bandwidth. We weren't rushing. We wanted it to mean something. When we finally felt that moment had come, after promotions, after paying off student loans, after painting our first real home together, Lena went off birth control. We were giddy, nervous, hopeful. But months passed. Nothing. Then more months. Still nothing. We saw specialists, did blood work, ultrasounds, hormone panels. The doctors called it unexplained infertility, a clinical phrase that couldn't capture the quiet devastation in her eyes every time her period came. She'd sit on the edge of the bathtub, silent, staring at the floor like she'd failed at something fundamental. I held her through it, told her it didn't matter, that we had each other. But I saw how much it hurt her, how she'd watch other parents at the park, how she'd linger in the baby aisle at the grocery store like she was mourning a future that might never happen. Then, out of nowhere, she got pregnant. It was a Tuesday. She came home from work, dropped her bag, and just stood in the kitchen holding a test stick like it was evidence. "It's positive," she whispered. We cried, hugged, laughed until we were breathless. We painted the nursery seafoam green, the color of calm, she said. Bought a secondhand crib from a neighbor. I read parenting books during lunch breaks. Held her hair back during morning sickness. Held her hand through every ultrasound, every kick, every midnight craving for pickles and ice cream. Our son, Qley, was born on a rainy Tuesday in April. 10 fingers, 10 toes, my eyes, her smile. I cried in the delivery room. Called my dad the second I could speak. "You're a father now," he said, voice thick. I didn't know how deeply those words would root themselves in me. For 4 years, I was dad. Not just a name, an action. I changed diapers at 3 a.m., sang off key lullabies, taught him to ride a bike, even when I scraped my own knee chasing him. I missed work meetings to sit in the pediatrician's office when he had a fever. I saved every Father's Day card he scribbled in crayon. I built a life around being his. And Lena? She was radiant, present. We were partners in every sense. Co-parents, lovers, teammates. We had date nights, inside jokes, a rhythm that felt unshakable. Then, 18 months ago, we sat at our kitchen table over coffee and made a decision. One child was enough. Life was good, but full. Qley was thriving. Our careers were demanding. We didn't need more. We had everything. So I got a vasectomy. It was quick, clinical. The urologist was kind, efficient. "You're doing the right thing," he said. "Takes the pressure off both of you." 3 months later, I went back for the post-op semen analysis. The results came in, 0 sperm. Sterile. Medically impossible for me to father a child. We even joked about it. Now you're officially off the hook, Lena would say, laughing, nudging me with her shoulder. I'd kiss her forehead and say, lucky for you, I like being stuck with you.
Then, 3 weeks ago, she missed her period. At first, we both brushed it off. Stress, hormonal shifts. She'd been working late on a big project. But then came the nausea, the fatigue, the way she winced when I hugged her too tightly. My stomach dropped like a stone. I didn't say anything, not right away, but that night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every detail. Vasectomy failure? Possible, but rare. Less than 1% after confirmed sterility. Still, maybe. So I made an appointment, got retested, sat in the lab room waiting with my heart in my throat. The results were clear. 0 sperm. Sterile. No ambiguity. I sat in my truck for an hour after getting the lab slip. Hands shaking, heart pounding like I'd run a marathon. Rain started falling, soft at first, then hard, and I just let it drum against the roof, matching the rhythm of my panic. That night, over dinner, I asked her gently, "Are you sure this is mine?" She looked hurt, insulted even. Of course it is. What kind of question is that? So I showed her the test. Silence stretched like taffy.
Then tears. Then denial. "There must be a mistake," she said, voice trembling. "Maybe the lab mixed up the samples." I didn't yell, didn't accuse, just looked at her, really looked, and said, "Lena, tell me the truth, please." She broke. It happened once, at a work conference in Denver. She'd had too much wine at the closing dinner, said it just happened with a colleague, a guy from another department. The condom slipped. She swore it was the only time, ever. She was horrified afterward, terrified, but she hoped it wouldn't matter, because she believed Eli was mine. I believed her. Or I wanted to. But something didn't add up. Eli was 4. If this pregnancy wasn't mine, what about him? The thought felt like sacrilege. He called me Dada, slept with his stuffed bear I'd bought him, ran to me when he fell. How could he not be mine? But the math didn't lie. The timeline didn't fit. And the look in her eyes when I asked, flickering, evasive, told me everything. I waited. And then, one afternoon while she was at work, I swabbed his cheek while he napped, careful not to wake him, sent it off to a private lab under a pseudonym, paid extra for rush results. 2 days later, I opened the email in my garage so she wouldn't hear me sob. Probability of paternity, 0. Not inconclusive, not unlikely, 0. Not a single shared marker. Not even close. He wasn't mine. Never had been. I sat on the concrete floor, back against the tool cabinet, and just unraveled. 5 years of bedtime stories, scraped knees, "Dada!" at the door when I came home from work, all built on a lie. Every proud moment, every sacrifice, every dream I'd woven around being his father, gone. Replaced by a hollow ache so deep I couldn't breathe. When she got home, I showed her both reports, the vasectomy confirmation and the paternity test. She collapsed onto the couch, hands over her face, sobbing. "I didn't know," she kept saying. "I swear, I thought he was yours. I didn't find out until after he was born, and I was so ashamed."
I asked who the father was. She gave me a name, Mark, someone I'd met once at a holiday party 2 months before Eli was conceived, smiled, shook his hand, thanked him for the wine. Now I can't unsee his face every time I look at Eli's profile. The same jawline, the same way he tilts his head when he's curious. She begged me to stay, said she'd terminate the new pregnancy, do counseling, anything. We can fix this, she pleaded. We're a family. But how do you rebuild trust when the foundation was never real? I told her I couldn't raise a child who wasn't mine, not knowing the truth. And I couldn't stay married to someone who let me believe a lie for half a decade while I poured my soul into loving a boy who carried another man's DNA. I moved out last week, staying with my brother for now. Filed for divorce. My lawyer says in our state, since I'm not the biological father and was actively deceived, I likely won't be on the hook for child support. There's a legal path to terminate parental rights, even for a child you've raised as your own, when fraud is involved. But emotionally, that's a different story. I still tuck Eli in at night, during my court-ordered visitation. Still kiss his forehead, still call him buddy. He doesn't know, and I won't be the one to tell him. That burden belongs to her. But every time he calls me dad, it feels like a ghost walking through the room. A reminder of everything I thought I had and everything I never really did. I don't hate him, never could. But I can't be his father, not knowing the truth. And I can't stay married to the woman who chose silence over honesty, convenience over integrity. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes respect matters more. And I finally remembered I deserve both. Last week, I sat in my therapist's office and said out loud for the first time, I feel like I lost a child I never had. She nodded. You did. You lost the son you believed in, the future you built. That grief is real. I'm learning to carry it. I've started running again. Early mornings, quiet streets, the rhythm of my feet hitting pavement, helping me outrun the noise in my head. I've reconnected with old friends who remind me who I am, outside of husband or father. I've even gone on one coffee date, just coffee, with a woman who laughed at my terrible jokes and didn't ask about my past. Healing isn't linear. Some days, anger flares like wildfire. Other days, I just feel tired. But for the first time in months, I feel clear. I built a life on a lie. Now, I'm building one on truth. And that's enough. If this story resonated with you, you're not alone. Betrayal cuts deep, but your worth was never defined by someone else's choices. Stay strong. Choose yourself.